Quinten, what was the mindset in that fourth quarter? You guys are down 21. That group starts to play hard, and you started bottoming shots. Take us through it a little bit.
Yeah, I think, the Blazers, they came out playing very aggressive, and, they played a really good game. We were down 20 in the fourth, and I thought that last group, we really picked it up defensively, putting some pressure on the ball, and knocking out some shot helps, and it's good to win the game, but definitely a lot to work on for us. So kind of a weird game, but we'll take it.
You guys got rolling there, Quinten, with that pick and pop, you and Pat Spencer. How good does it feel when you find a play like that? You can just run over and over and over again and try to expose people out there.
Yeah, it's a nice play when you're making shots, so I'll say that.
Yeah. When you see a Will Richard and an L.J. Cryer and other young guys start to kick in, the momentum, preseason doesn't count for anything other than your competitive DNA was on display. That's a good thing down the road.
Yeah, no, I think for them, especially for them, like this is their second game in the NBA right now, and this is the first time they really got some. I felt like they kind of got in their own. They played a really good game. They played huge minutes in the fourth, and we're not winning that game without them.
How are you feeling defensively? Because you guys kind of turned the game around on defense as well as the offense. You got a lot of deflections of your own there. So how are you feeling defensively, individually, and as a team right now?
In the fourth, I thought we played well, but in the first three quarters, they definitely put a lot of pressure on us. So we definitely have some work to do.
How much are you learning from Al Horford, having another 7-foot guy that can shoot like you? Because Al's done it for 19 years, and this is year 2 for you. How's that working out?
Nah, Al's the best. He's a pro, brings it every day, and it's been great to learn from him. A real vet and great player, great dude.
Who's winning the shooting battles between you, Al Horford, Draymond Green in practice? What's that looking like?
Draymond wins everyone.
Really?
Wow, interesting.
So.
Nice.
QP, what did you work on in the offseason that you're taking into season number 2? Because very quietly, you led the Warriors in three-point percentage at 40%.
Yeah, just trying to improve in some of these other areas, inside game, defensively, but don't let up on the shooting. That's kind of what brought me here. So I've definitely been shooting a lot of shots, and just keep that in my game.
Great game tonight. Thanks for stopping. We appreciate it. 15 in the fourth quarter. Warriors come from 21 down to win it. Quinten Post, nice job. Thanks so much.
Thank you, guys.
Was there a temptation to bring the Stars back in when it got a little close in the fourth quarter?
No way. These guys scored 51 points. Was I going to interrupt that?
Right.
They were great.
But I guess more seriously, what was your impression of the starting lineup with Al and Draymond playing together to start the game? What worked and what didn't work in your eyes?
Well, I didn't think we were ready to play, so I don't know that we got a good enough look at that lineup to really know. It should fit with Al's shooting, and got a lot of length and Moses on the ball, but they took it to us right away, and 39 points in the first quarter. We were careless with the ball, so it wasn't a good effort by our team until the second half, and then we got engaged in the fight, and our young guys did a great job.
In a preseason game where you give up 73 in the first half, do you even address that in the locker room? Or
address what?
You gave up 73 in the first half. Do you address that in the locker room?
May or may not have mentioned it. Yeah,
but
I told the team what I just said to you guys. We weren't ready. We were not. We were careless with the ball. They were flying by us every play. That's a good team. They're going to be good. They're long and athletic, and Chauncey's done a great job with them. I think the last 20 games last year they were like top 5 defensively in the entire league. They've rebuilt their roster, and they have a lot of length and athleticism, and so that first half was they put on a show.
Yeah, I was going to say it looked like they were getting maybe more penetration than you would have liked to. So.
Yeah, they were flying by us, and then we were collapsing probably too much, and then they had a ton of threes. I think they made 10 threes in the first half, maybe. So that was a problem.
Steve, what does it do for a group of young guys that don't get much opportunity to go and have that type of performance when they drop 51?
Well, you want those guys to to first, get a taste of experience, and then second to, to feel a game like this where you have to battle back and fight, and then you want them to have success and feel good about, this game. This game for them, for guys like LJ and Will, it makes them, Quinten, it makes this last 10 days of training camp, or 8 days, whatever it's been, feel more successful for them individually, like they're a part of it, and they've made these strides in these 8 days and gotten to this point where they can help, and it was really fun to watch.
What do you like about LJ?
He's tough, fearless, shoots it really well. I think he shot 43% for Houston last year. Love that he played for a winning program. I told the coaches there's a reason, Will and LJ played against each other in the national championship game. They came from great programs, and they're both winners, and it's one of the reasons they're both here. So we really like both guys.
Yeah, more specifically on Will Richard, just felt like his fingerprints were all over this game. What were some of your takeaways from that? Will Richard.
Will Richard, yeah. He just plays with a lot of energy and poise, and plus 21, and I think he was plus 21 or something like that. In 16 minutes, he made a huge impact on the game at both ends. He's smart. He reads the game well, makes the right cut and the right play over and over again.
I know it's not your job, but in the draft, do you view playing at a winning program as kind of an inefficiency or something that goes underrated in the draft?
You're right. It's not my job. I personally like, guys who, played for someone like Kelvin Sampson, and, you know that they've been taught, defense and grit, toughness, how to win. And I like guys who've played in big games. That matters, and so both those guys qualified.
It seemed to be a pretty focused camp. Your veterans have been shown some urgency, but you mentioned not being ready to play tonight. What are you writing that up?
I think it's their first game tonight, our second. I thought we were more fired up for our first game. That first exhibition game. You're 5 days into camp. You're literally just coming off summer, and you're back at it, and you're excited, and now the grind starts. And so I just didn't think we had as much energy and focus as they did, but not surprising. But it's a good tape to show. You can't turn it over 11 times, and a lot of them careless plays, lack of spacing, that sort of thing. So we'll show them the clips tomorrow and get back at it.
How would you assess Pat's comfort at this point in the program, and why was it important to have him back this year?
Pat's playing great. He's had a hell of a camp. He was a huge part of that comeback. He was the guy running high pick and roll with Quinten, finding him, getting him open, getting the ball moving. And I just love Pat's competitiveness, his fight, his work ethic. Every day in practice, he's ready to go, and he adds a lot to our locker room every day.
Brandon Pajemski played point guard there, second part of the first quarter. I was wondering, how important is it for him to get reps at that position as the lead ball handler in preseason?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of what he did last year. Even though he was a starter in the second half of the year, he would come back in for Steph and kind of handle the ball with Jimmy. And Brandon's a hell of an all-around player and can play either guard position. And it's going to be important for him to play with different units, because he tends to connect every unit that he's with.
Did you get a look at all the combinations tonight that you wanted to see?
Not quite. It's hard, only playing the vets 15 minutes or so. So we'll be able to do that, here in the next 10 days or so before the season begins.
Just walk me through that last basket, that little floater you had late in the fourth. What was going through your head? What were you seeing?
Just taking what the defense gave me, honestly. We was getting late in the clock, and I trust my ability to go get a basket at the end of the clock, and the ball found me. So, sometimes you just got to go out there and make a play. So once it found me, that's what I went and did.
It looked like Steve was coaching you guys pretty hard towards the end of the game. What was he sort of telling you guys in those moments?
Just organizing us, letting us know time and score, what defense we were in, what he was looking for on offense. So just making sure we were organized out there and, just telling us to keep playing together. We came out kind of flat today, and, that group at the end, we've been sitting there, so we got a lot of energy. So we just had to take advantage of the moment.
What did it mean to you? I know, it's a preseason game, but like you said, taking advantage of the moment, you guys scored 51 points in the fourth quarter. What does it mean to you to contribute to a win like that?
I'm all about winning. I won everywhere I've been, and, at this level, I want to continue to make that what I'm about. So, I know it's preseason, but I'm treating it like it's a real game because, you get limited opportunities. So, like I said, got to take advantage of it.
LJ, how would you describe your first NBA training camp?
Oh, man. It's been wonderful just being able to learn from guys like Steph Curry, Buddy Hield, even Pods. They've been talking to us. I don't know. I just feel like they're real helpful, and it's a blessing to be here and get to learn from them every single day. So I'm just taking it all in.
To kind of follow up off of that, what are your biggest goals to prove to your teammates and especially the coaching staff throughout the preseason?
Just show improvements every single day. These guys have watched me in college, so they know my game, and they know the things I need to get better at, and I understand the things I need to get better at. So it's about just improving day by day and just keep chipping at that rock. So that's my mindset, and I think as long as I keep my head down and grinding, things will work out well for me.
Does playing on the biggest stage in those high-pressure moments in college have you more prepared and ready for these kind of situations?
I definitely think so. Playing in Final Fours and Big 12 championship, things like that. I played at the highest level that I could play at in college. So coming out here, I try not to let the crowd and the noise bother me. So I definitely think it helps.
What's the biggest lesson you've learned from Steph and Draymond, the vets, in this training camp? Is there a particular one that you can share?
Just how they work, and I watch Steph work out after every practice, just seeing how he works, how hard he goes in his workouts, like taking game reps after game reps, and then just the communication they have with each other on the floor is like they know where each other is going to be without even saying it to each other. So. And Steph is really good without the ball, so I kind of watch him off the ball and see how he sets himself up to get open. So I feel like those are some things I can implement to my game to make me a better player.
Were you surprised at how much space you created with the in-and-out dribble, crossing half court with a minute left?
A little bit. I didn't know I was going to get that much space, but, once I saw it, I was like, I got to let it fly. So, yeah.
51-point fourth quarter. What kind of rhythm, what kind of groove do you feel like you guys found?
Yeah, when I first got in there in that third quarter, felt like we were trying to move the ball, get it going side to side, play a little bit 5 out, and no pun intended, but they're long and athletic. So ultimately, sometimes you have to attack that length and athleticism with a little bit of pressure on your own, and so. Fortunately, they had a big fella in there. He was in the drop quite a bit, and QP provides another weapon for us behind the three-point line. So, ultimately try to be a guy that gets us moving side to side, get guys involved, but felt like when I got back in there in the fourth, in order to keep the momentum going that those guys built, quite frankly, Will, LJ, those guys that were in there, in order to keep it going, we felt like we had to alleviate some of that ball pressure with the high ball screen and get downhill a little bit, and then obviously utilize QP shooting the rock.
And to follow up on that, as it pertains to QP in particular, what kind of rhythm, what kind of groove did you guys get in running pick and pop, and just what have you seen from him throughout the course of camp?
Yeah, I think when he gets in there, he knows he's got the green light to let it go, and so very easy to play with a guy who's got a great feel for the game. Their big fella was pretty comfortable back there in the drop, but I don't think he wanted to play on the perimeter very much, and so. Great ball screen from the big fella, and then get downhill, utilize my strength that way. But they were pursuing the ball. They didn't break it off and read or switch, and so kind of left QP wide open at the top of the key quite a few times, and pretty good rhythm. Quite frankly, I threw one a little bit low, kind of at his ankles. He picked it up and still knocked it down.
Pat, throughout camp, what have you noticed from Will Richard as someone who seems to just love to hound defensively?
Yeah, competitor, and quite frankly, came in here wanting to learn, which is pretty cool. Obviously, you've got some really good guys to learn from, but he's been kind of a sponge the entire training camp, and incredible attitude. You can tell he just loves the game, loves good people, and so, happy to have him on board, and excited to see him grow.
What have you seen from LJ Cryer in training camp? I mean, are you surprised by what he did in this fourth quarter, or is this something he's been doing for the last few weeks?
No, he's been doing that all the way back to his college days. I think for him, smart kid, so he's trying to figure out how to pick his spots. Ultimately, can shoot the cover off the ball. Would love to have him up here for some games, but if he plays down in the G League, he's going to light it up. So can shoot the cover off of it. High IQ guy, really wants to make the right basketball play, which at times it's going to be him scoring the ball, which you saw tonight. So in camp, when you got a guy like number 30 on your team, you probably lean towards finding him to knock down open jumpers, but LJ's going to have an opportunity to grow as a player and utilize his strengths, as you saw tonight.
It looked like Steve was coaching you guys pretty hard in that fourth quarter and taking the game really seriously. What sort of conversations was he having with you guys in the huddle there? Yeah,
I think he just wants us to play as hard as we can, get some good film together. Obviously, the preseason is about learning for everybody, and so if we can put some good tape together, that'll help the starters, that'll help the guys that are coming in during the regular season. That's what it's all about. So Steve's always been that way. He doesn't quit after halftime when the main guys shut it down. He wants to coach each individual and help them be the best they can be, which is pretty cool.
From your perspective, what did you see in the first half from your teammates? How did you diagnose what went wrong?
Yeah. I think our guard-to-guard action defensively was pretty rough. Quite frankly, we're going to see a lot of that. The league is heading there quite a bit. OKC, the high-level team, tend to have a lot of guard-to-guard action. So for us, it's about getting pretty dialed in on our principles, how we want to cover that. I felt like we gave them a little bit too much comfortability with the rock in their hands. They were pretty comfortable. I thought Shaden Sharp kind of got to wherever the heck he wanted the whole night. So for us, it's about personnel a little bit more. I think they've got a few guys that don't handle as well, or quite frankly, don't want to handle. Probably should have gotten the ball in their hands a little bit more. Been up off the baselines a bit more. I think they flattened us out quite a bit. So, and they made shots. It felt like they were making all their threes pretty early on. So, we've got to find a way to balance our aggression on the ball and picking our spots a little bit more. But full confidence in our staff that we'll get something together here.
Will, just take us through that fourth quarter, 51 points. Kind of feeling the energy of the crowd too. Just how was that comeback victory in your eyes?
Yeah, it felt good. I mean, just coming out there, playing the right way, we came out with energy. We knew we had to get some stops on the defensive end that led to our transition. Once we got that going, we got ourselves rolling and ended up coming out with a win, so it felt good.
The consensus from your teammates have been that you're a sponge who's just ready to learn. I'm wondering back to college, how you learned to be a leader and maybe some of the older guys that took you under your wings before you stepped into that role as well.
Yeah. For me, it's definitely just been something that has always been a characteristic of mine. Just wanting to learn as much as possible because I definitely don't know everything when it comes to basketball, and I'm in a perfect situation. Got a great group of vets and stuff like that have been through everything in basketball. And for me, I just want to ask them as many questions as possible because I know they've been through it, and I know it's going to help my career learning from them.
What's the biggest lesson you have learned through, 2 preseason games and training camp? What's something you've learned?
For me, just being able to adapt to different situations and different games. And Steph always tells me it's just basketball, so just keeping that perspective of going out there and just playing the right way, having fun with it.
And what have you seen from LJ Cryer in training camp and now obviously lit it up in the fourth quarter?
Yeah. I feel like LJ's been very consistent in training camp. The way he attacks every day, he's always early one in here, getting his shots up and stuff like that, and he's confident. He's going out there and playing the right way, making the right reads, and just making the team better when he's out there. So it's been fun to play with him.
What was the coaching staff sort of talking to you guys about in that fourth quarter when you guys are making that comeback and setting up plays to sort of clinch that game?
Yeah, it was just keeping the same energy. Keep rotating on defense, keep making the right plays, and making the easy ones. So I feel like once we got out in transition, we were able to read their defense a lot easier and get ourselves set up to put ourselves in the best situation to win.